Hey guys, welcome to Unlock Your First Six Figures in Business morning show with me, your host, Shay Cannon. I am a award-winning fractional chief operating officer to some 7 and 6-figure exclusive CEO clients. But I also have created a framework that can help small business owners and entrepreneurs just like you to start spinning your wheels and struggling to get to your first six figures in business. And you can learn that framework in as little as 12 weeks. However, this morning show is about me giving you transformational information for your business growth. And this week, what we have been talking about is mindset, right? Negative mindset to be specific. And so on Monday, we talked about fear of failure, and how that shows up is because you fear failure, you stop asking for the sale. You stop yourself from asking from the sale for the sale. You stop yourself from launching your offer. You stop yourself from taking action because you don't want to be judged on that action. You don't want to fail. And so because of that fear that you may fail, you simply don't do anything, right? And so we gave the solution on Monday in our part one of our morning show. And so go there for the solution to that. On Tuesday, part two, we talked about the negative mindset of lack of resilience, okay? Lack of resilience. Now, things are going to happen. What I shared was that entrepreneurship in and of itself is trial and error. And so what happens is so much can go wrong, but what we're looking for is the path to what finally goes right so that we can rinse and repeat what goes right. However, if you can never bounce back from what went wrong, you don't make it to what will be right. So you need resilience. Now, on Tuesday, we gave you some solutions for that. So go back to that replay. On Wednesday, yesterday, what we talked about was negative self-talk. To me, this is the worst one, okay? Because we're doing it to ourselves. And so we talked about how we're sinking our own ship by the talk and the speak that's going on in our heads about ourselves in a negative way. And we talked about how that impacts us. And then I gave solutions. So go back to yesterday's morning show to get that list of solutions. All right. Now, today, our final broadcast day, talking about negative mindset and how it impacts you and your business. Today's negative mindset is scarcity mindset. Okay. Scarcity mindset. And what I said was, a lot of people suffer from not feeling like they're enough to succeed. And so they feel a lack, right? And they're afraid they won't succeed. Some people feel like once they succeed, they lack what it takes to stay successful. Either way, they feel like something is scarce, something is less than, something is missing, right? And so that's the scarcity mindset I'm talking about when it comes to business. Now, some of the solutions, okay? Some of the solutions are the fact that we can only be as successful as we think we can be. So, a great solution is to train our brain and our thinking to be that we can be successful and as successful as we dream that we can be. And so, solution, create affirmations, okay? And speak them often to fill your mind with what can be and what will be, right? We're going to call that into existence. Cultivate an abundance mentality and embrace change, right? Embrace change. So we're going to embrace the change that we are enough, okay, to move forward and be successful. We're going to embrace the change that when we become successful, we are enough to stay successful. We are worthy, right? And so some of the affirmations that are great for this type of mindset are I am, right? I am worthy. I am enough. I am everything I need to be. Okay? I am. I love those. So let's talk about how scarcity mindset can impact you, right? So I want to know if you have felt any of these. So put in the comments if any of this rings a bell for you with scarcity mindset or anyone close to you with scarcity mindset. Fear and anxiety, right? When we feel like there's not enough of something, it makes us anxious. There's not enough. What are we going to do? There's not enough. When will it run out? Right? So a scarcity mindset can lead to this constant fear and this constant anxiety that you don't have enough resources. You don't have enough opportunities. You don't have enough for success. You are not enough. Okay? Tell me if you've experienced that. Do you know anyone that's experienced that? Scarcity mindset is limited thinking. We tend to think small. We're afraid to think big because there's not enough to be big, right? So we think small. Scarcity mindset, scarcity mindset. It restricts your thinking and narrows your focus. It makes you not even dare to think big. It doesn't allow you to think about things being unlimited or limitless, right? Lack of abundance. One thing I learned from a friend of mine, her name is Bianca Parker. She would do these wonderful Facebook posts, and she would talk about all the great things that happened to her that day, right? All the great things that God gave her, universe gave her, spirit gave her, whatever, right? All the great things she experienced, all the great things she has. And she would end it with more, please. That was such a novel concept to me, right? Because abundance is there's always more, right? But sometimes as we were growing up, we were taught that you have enough, right? Don't ask for any more, you have enough. You should be content with what you have, right? That's a scarcity mindset, that there's limited amount, so you can't ask for more. So you can go about not only asking for what you want, but then more, please. Do you see how that can train your brain into abundance? That has trained my brain into abundance. She would just say, she would list these great things and end it with more, please. And she did that every day. And I had to explain to her how that made me think differently, right? Because sometimes I can be content. Sometimes I could feel like, well, I have enough. I have a lot of nerve asking for more, right? I don't know if you even know about the play or the movie Oliver Twist, but he basically got put out of the orphanage because he had the nerve to ask for more, right? It was too many orphans to feed. How dare you ask for more? That's a scarcity mindset, that there isn't more to be had, right? So we have to change that mindset. Tell me if that hit home for you. Tell me in the comments if, just that thinking of more, please, when you have just gotten something, to have the nerve to say more, please, that is abundance. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you think about that, okay? Another thing that scarcity mindset, how it impacts you negatively is you miss opportunities. Okay, you miss opportunities because when you believe there is a limited amount of success or opportunities, what happens is you don't go out and get more. You stop the growth, right? What you don't believe, you cannot achieve. So if you believe that there's only so many opportunities, and if you see that person get it, then that means you can't get it, then you miss opportunities. You have to understand that there are opportunities for everybody. Okay. The next thing that scarcity mindset brings about is stress and burnout. Stress and burnout. You constantly feel scarcity in every situation. It contributes to high stress levels. If you're always wondering how you're going to have enough, that's a constant state of stress. And yes, it can lead to burnout, right? If you're always trying to beat somebody else to something because if you don't get there first, there's not going to be enough. You can get burnt out like that, right? All of us work in saturated industries, and there's more than just us doing what we do. It's not unique what we do. It may be unique how we do it because we are a unique person, but there's more than one chief operating officer out there, right? There's more than one business coach saying they can get you to your first six figures. My framework may be different, but there are plenty of people out there. So if I say they look like they're successful, so that means I will not have the chance to be successful. That's a scarcity mindset. There's enough for us all, right? It is an abundant opportunity for us to serve all the people out there who need what we have to give. So what are some more solutions? Let's talk about it. Gratitude, right? When you're thankful for what you have, right? You cultivate and you practice gratitude. When you acknowledge and you appreciate what you have, something happens inside of us where we automatically start to feel worthy of getting and asking for more. Anything you're grateful for, it's like we automatically feel like now we deserve more because we were given something, we were a good steward of it, and we're grateful for it. We deserve more. So, an attitude of gratitude. Shift to an abundant mindset, okay? Challenge, when scarcity comes up, challenge it, okay? All negative thoughts, when they come up, you challenge them. So when scarcity thoughts come up, you challenge it and you make yourself see the abundance rather than seeing the scarcity, okay? Believe that there is plenty and that plenty is going to come to you, right? There are no limits. Abundant mindset. Focus on growth and learning. Let me tell you, whatever you focus on is what grows. So if you focus on not having, then what grows is the scarcity. When you focus on what you do have and what you can get, what grows is the abundance. Okay? So focus is key. Embrace collaboration and connection. When we don't collaborate with other people, it's almost saying there's not enough for us both, right? So collaboration is an act of abundance, right? Saying that I'm going to partner with you so that we can both benefit is saying there's enough for us both. So collaboration brings about abundance, okay? Practice mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. Because when scarcity comes up, you have to be aware of it so that you can redirect your thoughts to abundance, okay? Yesterday we talked about negative self-talk, and I said every time you think of a negative thought and you do a negative self-talking, you need to replace that with 2 positive thoughts. Talk to yourself positively twice, right? I want to say the same thing about scarcity. As you're being self-aware and scarce thoughts pop up, replace every 1 scarce thought with 2 abundant thoughts. 3. Let's add 1 more in there. 3 abundant thoughts, okay? I want you to set big, hairy, audacious goals, right? If we live in an abundant universe, then there's no such thing as dreaming too big. So dream as big as you can. Make goals that are big as they can be, right? I love watching things on TV that shows me things that are possible, that shows me things that are so abundant it almost seems ridiculous. There is this, I was watching YouTube and I found this show, and the show is about hotels that are very extravagant across the world. And in these hotels, the lengths that they go for their residents of the hotels, right? The people that visit, the guests, and some that live there, stuff I've never heard of before, things I didn't even know were possible. These hotels are like $6,000 a night. What the hell, right? What's happening in these hotels, you might have people there was this man that came to the hotel. He used to come more often, but now he was older and he only came twice a year. He only came to that hotel twice a year. But they stored dressers, wardrobe, decoration, all kind of stuff in the basement of the hotel for him. And when he booked his reservation twice a year, they went up to the same room because he got the same room both times in the year. They went up there when he did his reservation and they redecorated the room to look like it always needed to look when he came. They filled the closets with his wardrobe that he left there. They brought furniture pieces that were specifically his. I have never dreamed of such a thing, right? So I love watching things and opulence. I'll never forget Robin Leach, right? Robin Leach opened so many doors to us when he showed us the houses of the rich and famous. We never knew some of that stuff existed, but now that we know that we can get it, right? MTV Cribs, right? MC Hammer and his gold ceiling, we never dreamed of such a thing. So expose yourself to more so that your dreams can get bigger. Tell me in the comments what you think about that, right? Because if someone else can have it, you can have it. If you know it exists, then you can ask for it. You can get it. That is abundance, okay? So sometimes what we need for abundance is not just to know we can get more, but we need to expose ourselves to more. So tell me what you think about that in the comments. And the next thing and the final thing is surround yourself with positive influences and surround yourself with symbols of abundance. Okay? This is how you conquer scarcity mindset. So what a way to end the week, right, y'all? I can't wait to interact with your comments. I can't wait to see what you think about today because I want us to dream bigger. I want us to dream more. I want us to get things and say more, please, because we are deserving. It can happen, right? It's all in your mindset. How do you think? How do you bring in stuff? How do think big so that you could have big? Okay. So that's this week. I can't wait to talk to you next week. And what I want you to do is, if you haven't already, sign up for the workshop that's at the end of this month, because at the end of next week on the 30th, I'm having a business planning made easy workshop. I am on vacation next week, so we will not have our morning show next week. The next morning show will be the first week of July. But I am going to come off vacation to have this business planning session with you guys. So go to shaycannon.com/planning, PLANNING. So today is the last day you'll hear me talking about the planning session. I might make some posts while I'm on vacation. In fact, I'll probably schedule some to go out. But I want you to plan to have a great third quarter. And so what I'm doing is I have a business planning made easy workbook. It's $27. What I'm doing is you sign up for this workshop, you're going to get that workbook, and I'm going to take you through the workbook. It's going to be an actual workshop. Okay, so we're going to go through the workbook and you're going to say, okay, this is the first thing we're going to do to plan. And then we're going to be heads down and we're going to plan. Then we're going to go to the next thing. Okay, this is the next thing we're going to plan. Heads down, plan it. So when you leave out of this workshop on the 30th, you should have a great plan to start off your third quarter. So this is important. This is why I'm coming off vacation to teach this workshop right at the end of June so that you're ready for July, August, and September. All right, third quarter. So shaycannon.com/planning, PLANNING. All right, guys, I will see you live at the top of July, but sign up for this workshop and I will see you for business planning made easy on the 30th. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great next week. And I'll see you at the planning, and the morning show will continue on the top of July. All right, guys, I'm looking forward to your comments.